A blessed day to you. For about 8 to 9 Sundays, we have received a kind of messages through online preaching about encouragement and comfort. Makatwiran lamang sa panahon ng pandemic at crisis na tayo ay inaaliw, na tayo ay pinapalakas ng mga pangangaral ng salita ng Diyos. However, in my own opinion, I think we need also to hear a kind of messages that center on spiritual maturity. We need to receive a message that will push us from comforted to comforting others, from encouraged to encouraging others, from stagnant to moving forward, from defense to offense, from level off to level up. Therefore, our topic today is fruitful at all times, taken from John chapter 15 verse 4, 8, and 16. I'll be reading in the NIV. Remain in me as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. This is to my Father's glory that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you so that you might go and bear fruit that will last. And so that whatever you ask in my name, the Father will give you. Let us reconstruct the historical context of John chapter 15. The physical setting of John chapter 15 was at the upper room somewhere in Jerusalem. John chapter 15 was part of the Last Supper of Jesus together with his disciples. New Testament scholars believe that Jesus' discourse in John chapter 15 was his farewell message for his disciples. And the primary emphasis of his last teaching was about go and bear fruit. Jesus knew then that only few hours left for him to be handed over to the cross. So he took advantage of the situation to commission his disciples to be fruitful. Nabasa ko ang isang article ni Nathaniel Massey, an American environmentalist. Ayon sa kanyang article, humans is the most adaptive species in the whole world. Ang tao ay evolving to adapt sa mga pagbabago socially, technologically, and environmentally. At the post-COVID-19 pandemic, papasok tayo sa new normal and there will be a lot of social changes. Dati, physical setting. Ngayon, virtual meeting or setting using Zoom app. Dati, physically present from workplace. Ngayon, work from home. Dati, unlimited going out. Ngayon, essential going out, wearing mask, and observing physical distancing. Dati, physical assembly for church service. Ngayon, online Sunday church service. Now that we are preparing for the new normal with many social changes, we need to adapt. Magkaroon tayo ng pagdiskarte sa mga pagbabago. We need to innovate. Maging maparaan tayo sa mga pagbabago. We need to evolve, pag-angkop sa mga pagbabago. Kaya sabihin mo sa katabi mo, bawal judgmental, huwag maging reklamador. Jesus has commissioned his disciples to be fruitful even without his physical presence. In the same manner, let us be fruitful though we are in the middle of global health crisis. Let us be fruitful in season and out of season. Ating baybayin ang mga puntos ng John chapter 15 upang tayo ay maging malago sa lahat ng panahon. First, we need to be a fully trained disciple of Christ. to be fruitful at all times. Sabihin mo sa iyong katabi, be a disciple of Christ. In verse 16, Jesus commanded His disciples and said, I choose you and I appointed you to go and bear fruit. The 12 disciples were handpicked by Jesus and they went through an intentional training for about 3 years to what they became. Now that they were equipped and mentored, Jesus confidently commissioned them and go and bear fruit. Napanood ko ang isa sa mga series ng Karate Kid which was released in 2010. Ito ay pinagbidahan ni Jaden Smith at ni Jackie Chan. In the movie, ang family ni Jaden Smith ay nag-migrate sa China. Wala pang COVID-19 noon. Sadly, nabully si Jaden Smith ng mga batang inchik. Para matigil ang pangbubuli ng mga batang inchik ni Jaden Smith, sila ay sasali sa Kung Fu competition. Kailangan talunin ni Jaden Smith ang mga batang inchik. Kung hindi, yari siya. Ang ginawa ni Jackie Chan, isang Kung Fu expert, ay naglatag ng intentional training para kay Jaden Smith. To cut the long story short, nag-champion si Jaden Smith. Primero, walang alam si Jaden Smith sa karate, but his intentional training has brought him to the level of becoming a champion. Listen to this. In the same manner, we need to be a fully trained disciples of Christ to be fruitful at all times. We have to be discipled the way Jesus has discipled the 12 to be fruitful. Jesus is inviting us to come and see. Sa panahong ito, kailangan nating makilala si Jesus bilang Panginoon, bilang Diyos, at bilang tagapagligtas. Then Jesus is inviting us to follow me, sumunod kay Jesus at magkaroon ng malalim na ugnayan sa Kanya. After that, Jesus is challenging us to fish for people, magsanay at maganda for evangelism, win the seeker for Christ, and equipping, build the believers for Christ. Lastly, Jesus is commissioning us to go and bear fruit, pagganap sa the Great Commission of disciple making. Secondly, we need to be fully connected in Christ in order for us to be fruitful at all times. Sabihin mo sa iyong katabi, be connected in Christ. In verse 4, Jesus reminded His disciples and said, remain in me, as I remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself, it must remain in the vine. Neither you can bear fruit unless you remain in me. One of the 7 I am statements of Jesus, which is, I am the true vine, was written in John chapter 15. Jesus borrowed this metaphor of a tree to illustrate the necessity of abiding or remaining as the key to fruitfulness. Metaphorically, Jesus told His disciples that He is the vine and they are the branches. Literally, a cut-off branch from the trunk cannot bear fruit. Only the branch that is attached with the trunk will bear fruit. For this matter, Jesus has emphasized to His disciples the importance of staying connected with Him to bear fruit. Merong 2 puno sa front yard ng aming bahay. Yung isa ay puno ng mangga at yung isa ay puno ng mulberry. Kapag naputol ang isang sanga mula sa kanyang puno, naturally matutuyo ito sapagkat ang trunk ang pinaka-source ng nutrient upang ang isang sanga ay magbunga. Hindi maaaring magbunga ang isang sanga kung ito ay disconnected dun sa kanyang puno. In the same manner, we must be attached with Jesus, the source of life and strength, to be productive. For apart from Him, we can do nothing. Sa original text ng John chapter 15, ang English word na abide or remain ay translation from the Greek word meno. By implication, the Greek word meno is telling us that our connection with Jesus must be continuing. Ang ating pananatili kay Kristo ay dapat na tuloy-tuloy, walang bitawan hanggang wakas, bawal ang mag-backslide. Our continuing connection with Christ leads to fruitfulness. At this juncture, we have established the many points of John chapter 15 in order for us to be fruitful at all times. These are, we need to be a disciple of Christ and be connected with Christ. Sa puntong ito, ating baybayin ang mga dahilan ng John chapter 15 kung bakit dapat tayo ay fruitful at all times. First, when we are fruitful at all times, God is glorified. Kapag tayo ay lumalago, ang Panginoon o ang Diyos ay naluluwalhati. In verse 8, Jesus said, "This is to my Father's glory that you bear much fruit." The disciples were theologically enlightened about the unique relationship of Jesus with the Father as the Son of God. And they knew that the Father has sent Him into earth as the Messiah. Jesus made it clear, "Be fruitful, for my Father in heaven is glorified." Listen, God is glorified by our fruitfulness, not by our busyness. Secondly, becoming fruitful at all times is the benchmark of Christ's disciple. Ang ating paglago ay patunay na tayo ay mga alagad ni Kristo. In verse 8, Jesus said that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my true disciples. The disciples were socially enlightened about their unique relationship with Jesus as their friend, not just their master. So Jesus made it clear, "Be fruitful, for it testified that you are my true disciples." Our discipleship can only be validated by our own fruitfulness. At this juncture, we have understand those reasons why we need to be fruitful from John chapter 15. These are the Father is glorified and benchmark of discipleship. At this point, we are asking what kind of fruits that we need to produce in our lives. Generally, ang New Testament ay maliwanag sa kanyang aral patungkol sa mga uri ng bunga na dapat makita sa ating buhay at sa ating pagkatao. First, the fruit of righteousness. In 2 Corinthians chapter 5 verse 17, while we are in the quarantine and going to the new normal, tayo ay mamunga ng mga pagbabago sa ating mga buhay. Secondly, the fruit of the Spirit in Galatians chapter 5 verse 22 to 23. While we are in the quarantine and heading to the new normal, tayo ay magkaroon ng bunga katulad ng love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control sa ating mga pagkatao. Lastly, the fruit of gospel in Matthew chapter 9 verse 37 to 38. While we are in the quarantine and heading to the new normal, tayo ay mamunga, tayo ay mag-evangelism. Dalhin natin ang mga tao sa ating Panginoon. Ibahagi natin ang gospel sa ating kaibigan, sa ating pamilya. Let's win seekers for Christ. In this time of pandemic and crisis, don't be stuck. Huwag tayong matrapik. Kailangan nating mag-move on and be fruitful. Don't hibernate. Huwag tayong matulog sa pansitan. We need to wake up and be fruitful. As I end, let me apply the message of fruitful at all times in the context of the parable of the talents. Listen. To the unfruitful Christians, you will be rebuked, you wicked and lazy servants. But to the fruitful Christians, receive your commendation. Well done, good and faithful servants.